Hello, y'all. I should be starting in a bit, going to a Discord server. Felt like having a chat tonight, and there was this. Well, I'll post the discussion soon. There were these two flat earthers who I figured it would be fun to put on a sort of sciencey type talk on one of these Discord channels, and one of them wanted me to discuss uh, leveling, which I don't really know anything about. But I found this debate by uh, what the main surveyor, also in the debate. He destroyed with it. You should look it up on Modern Day Debate. And long story short, in the process of that discussion, I challenged those two who were sort of questioning me about that, saying, "Look, I posted that link to say this is something I didn't really want to talk about, but y'all like trying to grill me on it. If y'all want to debate, let's make it happen." He was like, "No, we don't want to debate." But somebody else in the chat was like, "I'll happily debate you," and he was talking about math, about basically how geometry and trigonometry works on the flat Earth. So, ironically, just for fun, of course, motivated by the flat earthers, um, I redid the Eratosthenes experiment and measured the circumference of the Earth. I have it on my website. Go to darrellleberajr.com. And I also did a flat Earth comparison. So I actually did all the math already. So I know it doesn't work. So, but he says it does. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're supposed to meet in like a few minutes, and he's gonna, I guess, do his math for me or whatever, and we'll see how that works. So I'll hop on in and we'll see how it goes.
Line because it's not the same for everybody.
I'm about to post another picture. So is this south for California? I'm following a longitude line. Is this south right here?
Let's see. Yeah, I'll give you California, man. You know, I'd say
Is that
south is no, south is following the longitude line, man. So it's even worse than that. It's like off to the other way a little bit. But ultimately south, if you followed it, yeah, you'd follow that longitude line. I don't know how else to say it, bro. But yeah, that's something
So
that needs to be adjusted.
so do you follow the thought pattern of we can't or the sun sets because it's too far away from you?
You
Do
agree
you
that
follow that?
that's yeah, I mean this is for some and just drop it onto the plane. So I can make adjustments and stuff, man. And you can maybe point out some different things we can test. But like I said, I just want to get past.
Just want to focus on your video and get into the impossibilities because this
Yeah.
picture I just posted, I don't think the sun would ever rise for California,
Why
let
wouldn't it?
alone Georgia, because this is as
Okay.
close as the sun gets to America in your model.
Yeah, I gotta move. I gotta move America a little bit. Just tilt it down and maybe drop it a smidge.
So
Yeah,
so
you
this
could
is
keep beating that. You could keep beating that to death, bro. I mean, I don't know
this
how
is
many different ways to tell you that.
this is
Yeah,
leading me towards.
America could be a little bit lower.
I'll
I'll give you
grant you
that.
that.
Yeah,
I
the sun
agree
would
that
come up.
you
You'd
need
have
to
to like the
adjust your
sun would
map.
come up. That's not that far off equinox, bro. I mean, what I'm showing there, the sun ain't that far from the equator. So you know,
Well,
you saying
you
it wouldn't
Well,
rise?
looks like right
That's
now he's
I
already
mean,
started a
obviously not
discussion.
true,
So
right?
you
see
have an
what's going
example
on.
of your new map because I want to, as you say, beat this map to death anymore.
Now I'll tell you what,
You haven't.
just tilt America in your mind and just drop it a little bit and straighten in the longitude lines to go with it in your mind mentally, and then point out some other problems, dude. There's a couple other things, and there's ways we could disprove it in my mind. but I want to hear what you come up with. See if it's something I haven't
Well,
come up with.
you asked me if I'll agree with this, and if I have to
Were you
move
still intending
America.
on us talking at this time,
I don't live in
Brian? Or
Russia. I don't live in Russia, but I'm assuming that Russia would have the same issue, so the map would have to change again. And
Would it?
if we go back to this first
Nah,
bubble
Russia's
image that I
good, man.
huh?
Russia's pretty good, man. And Africa is obviously probably the best. But
Okay, I can't speak for Russia, but
no,
we'll speak for America. Because if I go back to this map again, this double map, the sun is moving from California to Seattle
yeah,
on the left,
you made that point, bro. I've already conceded it 3 times.
and then it's
I'll give you that.
so then I'd have to say your video is impossible. I'd have to agree that it's impossible.
We have to make a couple adjustments, okay? But the point in that video was to show the rotations. But hold on. So let's say you're in Russia, okay? So we'd see the sun coming from what direction? We'd see it coming from the southeast, right? During their winter.
On the left image, it'll be coming from the north.
No, during summer
Northeast.
solstice. During the summer, yeah, like it does in reality. So in the summer solstice, I mean, for the south, so it'd be winter for Russia. So what direction would it be coming from then?
Can we talk
From
about
the
Georgia? Because I
southeast.
don't live in Russia. Can we talk about
No,
Georgia?
yeah,
I have no idea
you
what
brought it
Russia
up.
does.
You brought it up. So I'm just saying it'd come from the south and it'd be moving east, and then it would
I have
set
no
off to the
idea.
south.
I have no idea about Russia. I can talk about Georgia. I live in Georgia. So can you talk about Georgia?
Okay. Georgia. So in Georgia, what happens in the summertime? What direction does the sun come from?
From west to east.
From west to east. I think I'm done, bro.
Sorry, from east to west.
Okay, I
East to
just
west.
checking.
Right over my house.
I
East to
don't think it
west.
goes over your house, bro. What's the closest it
Huh?
gets to overhead where you're at? If you live in Georgia, even if you live, what do you like, Atlanta?
No, I'm in South Georgia, right on the Florida line.
So
I'm
you
gonna
probably ain't too
post.
far. You probably ain't too far from me, bro. I'm in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm 2 hours away from you.
Yeah. So
Also,
you're probably about 34 north. So you're shit. The sun is probably about 11 degrees. It never gets even close to over your head. I mean, well, close. It depends on what you consider close, but it's never overhead. But yeah, in the wintertime, I mean, summertime, yeah, it's going to come in from the sharp north,
huh?
and then come closer to overhead, and then it's going to set sharp north. I mean, and then in the summertime, it's going to come in sharp east. I mean, winter time, it's going to come in sharp east, get closer, and then set sharp west.
Hey, Brian, I'm not trying to throw you here, but do you know what a orrery is? It's Orary. It's like a little
Oh,
mechanical model of the solar system. Ever seen one?
tell me about it.
It's from
Tell it
Riddick.
again.
You ever see the movie Riddick?
Yeah.
And the
When
dark
she's
crystal.
no, sorry, my bad. Pitch black. Pitch black. When she's turning the thing and she sees that the sun goes and the sun gets blacked out for however long.
Ah.
You know what I'm talking
Okay.
about? In Pitch Black?
Yes.
Go ahead,
I
describe
got to
it,
go
Merle.
back and watch it though, man, because it's been so long. But I remember
Describe it
seeing
to
it.
him, Merle. He doesn't.
They're really interesting because it's a mechanical representation of the solar system. So you can move the positions, you can see where the planets are and you can change. They're really handy just to visually plot things out. Some people
If-
can't conceive it in their brain.
If anybody wants to visualize, I mean, you could probably Google it or something. But it was in the movie Pitch Black at the beginning when she was just figuring out that the sun was going to black out, and she's spinning the thing or turning the dial or whatever she did, and the the shit starts rotating and the sun gets blacked out.
Their little window of opportunity, or their window of death.
So here's a better image. I stacked your images on top of each other. So you're saying that depending on the time of year, the sun turns a different direction. I've got to say that's impossible.
Well, one interesting thing with this orrery thing, right? It all happens on a horizontal plane, and it's all just mechanical rotations. Like they just all the spheres just move round in like circles around
Yeah,
each
pay
other,
attention. Though.
going
I'd say
up
pay
and
attention to.
down, and there's
Sorry.
no tilts. It's all lateral in one plane, and a like Saturn, there's the ring around Saturn. That's what the planets are doing around the sun, apparently. Just going around like a hula hoop. All on one plane. You
I'd like to
can
see what
map
the
it,
Antikythera mechanism would look like in that kind of orrery model thing.
right?
We're done with this video then.
No,
Oh,
it does
sorry,
come
man.
in
I
from
didn't
way
want to
You
north,
guys
bro.
want
derail.
to
Just so
keep
you
I'm
know.
going?
trying to.
All
I'm
right,
so
you
you
trying
know,
guys
to
want to
like
keep
steel
going? Hold
man
on,
this
guys.
argument a
Hold
little
on.
bit. That's all.
Hold on a second, guys. If you guys want to continue that, sure. We can
I'll
wait
give
No,
one
I'm
more
just
thing, man. We don't got to
I'm
continue
just
it, bro.
looking
But
for
I'll
a
say one other
change.
thing. Put some shadows in the ground in the extreme north winter and then extreme south, and look at what it does. It comes in from the extreme north, yeah, from way in the north, and then summertime it comes like not 180 degrees, obviously, but it comes in way from the south, and then it comes closer to you, and then sets way off to the south, opposite in the north. Use shadows, and you could see exactly the pattern if you put little sticks in the
the
ground.
video doesn't show the sun coming in from the north at all. It stays below Georgia the entire year, and then it wraps around California one part of the year, then it wraps around South America the next part of the
Look
year.
at sun calc, bro. Watch sun calc,
I'm just
and
talking about
look at the
video.
shadow. It's going to change. Well, in reality, sun calc, what it's going to do is it's going to, wherever you're at, you're going to see a different thing. So you're not going to see the same thing from the person in California. So in sun calc, it's going to show you the shadow, and it's going to show you where the sun's at, and then, you kind of got to picture them angles in reality. So you can't compare two different places because that ain't the way it works.
What were you talking about in pitch black? I pulled up the scene. I'm trying to look at it. What was important about this?
Hey, hats off to you for pointing out the first thing I noticed about the model. The first thing I was trying to correct, though, like that area to me is the one that needs work, bro. Just being all honest.
Hey, Brian, you still wanting to talk, whether here or somewhere else? We were supposed to talk around this time.
What are you talking about? What's this talk gonna be about?
Me and Brian had agreed to meet at this time to talk about his map. But I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God, dude, I've been going on and on, man. I know Native's got to be getting restless, man. We was just talking about the map, man, and he pointed out a legitimate problem, and I
Okay.
think he recognized it a couple of more problems though, but maybe he didn't.
So you feel there's already been is already been resolved as problematic? There's no more need to discuss it?
Yeah, he pointed out that in California, like, I mean, the sun's obviously going to come in from the southeast and get closer towards us, and then set off, but the angle is a little wonky, man. Like, there's definitely some adjustments. That area is my least favorite area. I think that it wouldn't work. I think there need to be adjustments, man. Just with that area mainly, that'd be the worst area. I mean, it's
Well, that's
still follow the basic mechanics, but yeah,
no
it
problem.
wouldn't
Well, I guess
match.
thank you for RLL for going over it. I guess I have to click back and see how it went. But I'm here if anybody want to
Wait,
discuss anything. I'll
will you
call that
agree
at a
though?
time.
Will you give me this? Will you agree that clockwise, anti-clockwise rotation on a flat plane is not impossible? There might be other problems we could dig into and point out, but as far as just the two rotations, it's not impossible, right?
Is this a new thing? Because I feel like Merle had something and it's transitioning to another thing.
So it sounds
Is this
like
the same
Yeah,
thing we were on before?
well, before I even got there,
the reason I
RL
was thinking
photography is
about it,
actually pretty
Jeremy, is
good
because
as far as
sorry, the dog's
as
wants to
far
go
as
for a
a
walk.
knowledgeable person of math and science. So It looks like he was so anxious to talk about his math that he already talked about it with RL, and he already pointed out a bunch of problems with it. So he doesn't. He's just problematic. He needs some fixing. So I guess there's no need, which anybody who understands math can recognize. But of course, before you pointed out, the flat earthers are uh, so sure that what they're saying is right and correct. But that's just the way it goes. So I guess we won't be talking since he's already acknowledged that his math is not correct. Well, at least he acknowledged for that part. I mean, clearly our understanding of the math and the globe is uh, correct for the entire globe. But apparently they were discussing different parts of the earth, and the different parts they discuss, he acknowledges that it doesn't work. So, well, that's that. So, but I'll take a look and see uh, what other topics come up. Maybe they want to discuss something else or something like that. But I might read around for a little while and see how it goes.
Might
Oh,
as well
no,
be
it's not
1 mile
about
an hour.
it's not about 500 million miles an hour. It's so this was one of my arguments in Gem Panda's room. Let's see how you go with it. Like at say lunchtime, you see the sun high in the sky. Are we being dragged by which direction's the sun really traveling? Is it going across the sky, or is it going forwards as well, dragging the earth behind it and everything else? That's what you guys say.
To us, because we are moving the same speed as the sun, it's not moving at all. Like I said, it's just like me sitting in the back seat of a car with my friend, and us just throwing a ball back and forth to each other. We all know what.
So it's not moving, and you think the Earth's just revolving around the sun's stationary in the universe.
You got to
You're
be
not
driving in a
listening.
circle.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I'm trying.
You have to drive in a circle, bro, to compare it to that.
No,
Right,
we
because you could
the
drive
solar
around a
system.
roundabout.
The solar system is all inside of a big a Mack truck with a big box on the back of it. We're in the back of a big box truck with our solar system. The
Right.
sun, the moon,
solar
the
system's
planets,
moving.
everything. We're inside
Everything's
of a Mack.
moving, right?
Yeah, man. If you let me
Yeah.
finish.
Well, some people don't think that. Some people think it's stationary, right?
Exactly.
Like space
I
is
agree.
stationary and everything's moving in the space. But space itself is fucking rigid, fixed.
I don't understand your line of questioning then if you just refuted what I
There's
said
been
with
a singular point of a heat expansion called the Big Bang. And from that single point of energy, it all expanded. Now we're inside that. That's what you guys
Okay.
say. That's your model. And it's still expanding.
Okay.
And everything that we're in, which is a solar system, is just a small little star cluster in billions and trillions and millions of fucking galaxies and universes.
There's something wrong with that? Here, I'm gonna post a
Ridiculous,
picture
bro.
of what our model says. That's our galaxy. That's our solar system on the left.
Ridiculous.
And that's the next solar system closest to us on the right. We're all in our own little trucks riding down the highway.
Yeah.
It's a very
Following
simplistic way to
ours.
look at it.
Yes. So, hence my mentioning of the orrery, because that's a mechanical model of our solar system.
I'm confused. Are
sick
you
of seeing
agreeing
it
with
on a
me or are you
computer screen.
disagreeing with me? I don't understand what.
I think it's a good way, even though it's archaic in a sense, like going back in time. I think it's a good way for people to get their head around it visually, yeah, and understand that those mechanisms of the orrery are happening in the universe free from mechanical components, which is the incredible miracle of the creation of what we're in. Because there's no moving part, there's moving parts, but there's not like strings connected to the moon, the sunlight. What's making them move? No one knows. How does it do it? We can't recreate any of that. a witnessing phenomenon, and then scientists are going, gravity, mass attracts mass. Oh, time and space can bend. We're laughing at them.
Do you think they're just making it up?
Yes, they are making it up.
You don't think there's been like observations and predictions and experiments done?
Well,
The
it
fact
was
these
made up.
They're
It was
twins-
observing
originally made
something
up.
that's already happening. They're not.
Yeah.
They're just writing things down and looking at things. They're not
We can all
doing
make-
anything themselves.
We can all make predictions, bro. The sun's gonna be back tomorrow. I predicted it. My fucking unicorn theory is true.
What are you
Nah,
predicting it
that's
based on?
like
Do you have a model?
the Newtonian origins of gravity is actually, yes, completely made up, because they just assumed a ball and then assumed a sky where the other balls are the same thing, and then that gravity, the thing pulling you down towards the earth, is what's causing the heavenly bodies to move that way. Yes, they did completely make up gravity. Yeah.
Now ask something just for complete honesty. If let's say I agree with you that they made it up, it's all a story, it's the best guesses they got, and we agree that they are pretty dang good at making these guesses and these predictions, it's pretty accurate. We agree to that?
Yeah. If you could just at least acknowledge that's a possibility, I think the whole room would have massive respect for you. I know I
What's the
would.
possibility?
Just even to hold it in your mind as a possibility that scientists and the early ones were not that different to you and me and everyone here.
I think the
For some
early
reason, they're
scientists,
heralded as these special people that somehow figured something out, when really they just wrote down their observations and logged it all. And you can't knock them for that. But they started making pronouncements, like cosmological fucking philosophical things. They shouldn't have done that. They should have stayed empirical.
I think the early scientists were pretty dang smart, if not smarter than me, probably so. They probably do have their minds grasped on the solar system and science way better than I do. I do give them that. And yeah, and like I said, if I
Don't
grant you
think
that
that
they
way.
made it up, you really don't like to
Don't
let me
think
finish
that
talking.
they.
You really don't like to let me finish talking. It's kind of amazing.
No, the problem
It's
is
really-
that people don't get to acknowledge themselves. Like you get to hear about Isaac Newton, Einstein. What about you? What about RL photography? Now shut up. I want to know about you, man.
I'm great at my job and what I do as far as my work and my hobby of photography. I'm great at that. But as a scientist, no, I am nowhere near an Einstein, Newton, whoever else you want to name off. I give them their complete credit that they made up a great story. They wrote some stuff down, and they are pretty dang good. And especially the people that live today are very good at making predictions on telling me what time to go outside and see a eclipse or a comet or any other astronomical thing. They're pretty great at it. I think we all have to agree that they're great at that.
Yeah, these people
Okay,
dedicated their lives. They dedicated their lives to making these observations
Wait,
and
bro.
figuring out these equations. And even the scientists
Yeah, I
now,
agree with you.
they go to school, they dedicate themselves to this. They don't just pop on freaking YouTube and just start throwing and making claims. And this is the last thing I want to say, and then I'm gonna get off my soapbox because it aggravates me. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. Just give me 20 more seconds, and then I'm gonna be done. Because it pisses me off. Because you guys just assume that these people just make this shit up or just pop this shit out of thin air when they don't. And
Wait,
I'm not
first of
saying
all,
that.
that guy said predicted eclipses, bro. They use the Sumerian
there's a reason for
Soros
that.
cycle to predict eclipses, so they're not doing
It's
anything
because they
new, bro.
make stuff up, as you're hearing.
How
I
accurate
remember what I was
is
about
the
to say.
Sumerian solar cycle?
NASA uses the Soros
then I'll
cycle,
zip
so
it too. What if you were sitting in your backyard and an apple fell on your head? Right?
That's not how Newton. Bro,
What?
listen, I told y'all before. Y'all need that apple falling on the head is not how Newton. That's something that happened when he was a child. Newton came up with his observation mainly from observing comets. It has nothing to do with apples. He wasn't even a whatchamacallit yet. That's something that happened when he was a kid.
But
well,
Carl,
no, he used he used his observations to later explain the comets.
But guys, here's the crazy thing is The predictions that they use, that they make, they're scary. They're scarily accurate. You cannot deny that.
You hear what I just said? The ancients had these cycles. They had the cycles already, and they just gave you a story. And you think, oh, the story matches what we see. So, oh my God, they're geniuses. No, they're just lying to you, and they're not telling you how they get the fucking cycles and the predictions.
Well,
It's
guess
really
what?
easy, simple,
Their
bro.
lies are still amazing, and the things that they
Oh,
come out
good, yeah, dude.
tomorrow.
Let's worship their lies.
Wait, the things they come out with tomorrow, and the things they're gonna launch up there, and the things they give pictures of, and they say, "Hey, watch out! There's a solar storm coming." It's amazing. I think you
It's
have to
amazing how
agree.
they know, and it's amazing how they know. They predict the weather and the solar storms. Wow, and the pandemics. Wow, they're so smart. How do they know?
Oh, I'm just talking about solar storms and eclipses that are happening. And what gas station do I park at so I can see it happen? And don't stay in this hotel because you're not going to see it happen here. That's amazing, right?
Can you imagine that they're causing a lot of these things and then
Not
just
going to answer that
predict?
question.
Oh yeah. What's that got to do with your model?
I mean,
Everything.
NASA uses the flat Earth model to predict eclipses.
What they did is
Saying
change
Okay,
it.
can I
They
see that
changed it
model?
to it. They said there's
Yeah,
a force pulling shit down, and now it's a
Can you post it?
pseudo-force because it's the Earth moving up to
Let's look
meet.
at
Yeah.
NASA's flat Earth model.
I
You
didn't
saying that
know. I'm saying they use Thoros cycles to predict eclipses. They're not using a heliocentric model or some type of globe Earth model to predict eclipses. It's based on the Thoros cycles.
so that right there is what I want to point out. That you and this other guy that I can't pronounce his name. I don't know what those symbols mean, but
UOP.
he and you said they use Soros cycles, which I imagine were done 15 years ago or more. But they're telling me with these Soros cycles to go spend the night in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Hyatt on exit 22, and you'll see the total eclipse. Don't go to exit 44 though; you won't see it there. I think that's amazing. And if they lied to me to get me to that to exit 22,
No, they're right. Welcome to flat Earth, bro.
they're pretty good at lying about the shape of the Earth and making all
Oh,
these
they're good at
predictions.
predicting shit, bro. It's in the almanac every year, bro. It's always the same. Welcome to flat Earth.
What hotel to stay at to see the total eclipse is in the almanac?
Dude, it tell you when to plant seeds. It tell you what the
Well,
weather's going to be
the
50 years
the
from now,
question
bro.
is,
They're real
They
good at that.
changed they changed their analysis of like where the eclipse was going to be multiple times before it actually happened. If you paid attention to the last eclipse, they changed the path of totality and the path that it was going multiple times.
Yeah, I was in here for that conversation, and we it boiled down to they got more accurate and more accurate and more accurate. We're
well,
They
talking
change
about
the distance to the sun, bro.
matter of
Look,
miles.
we can predict where it's going over the Earth because it does the
Right.
same thing. But when they start changing the distance of the sun, bro, they're just guessing, bro. All we can see is reality, bro. And that's flat Earth. That's reality. Where we see the eclipse and where it's going to be 18 years and 11 days
wait.
from now.
I have
The
a big
question is
question.
the question is
Hang
the
on.
question is how does your model, the heliocentric model, repeat so accurately that it's cyclical, and the ancients could literally predict what happened now, basically because of how repeating and cyclical everything. How does that work with
Let,
your random balls in space, bro?
let me answer that and kind of ask the question I was going to ask also. I don't think is as cyclical as you guys are claiming it to be because there was a
It literally
eclipse
is.
that came over. There was an eclipse that came over my state back in 2017, I think. What was the last cycle where it took that same exact path again?
1999.
Took the same exact path? Let's look that up.
You're talking about the same exact path?
It's
Okay. The same exact
6,585
time.
days.
He said it's cyclical. So they can
It's
Yeah, it is
Who
predict
said
it.
the
6,000.
path?
cyclical.
Who
It's
said the path
The
was
same.
6,585 days is the
Yeah, if you
cyclical
want the
pattern
same
for the
exact
same
time,
region.
Hang on, I'm looking it up.
same path?
no, I think the path, yeah, is the cycle he just said. The time is constant, a constant cycle, and it was I think 18 years and whatever days, and
Yeah,
you'll see where it came from, and you'll see where it's at now, so you'll know right where it's going next, man. And if you go back
like
far enough, you get the same day eclipses, which they're literally exactly, but yeah, it extends out
almost
past
almost
further
like
than
these
18 years.
almost like these luminaries are stuck in like some track, like magnetic or just
Wait a minute.
who cares? So they can't move from their track. they're constantly repeating. How does that work when things are just floating in space and you say the moon is like leaving and moving farther and farther away? Dude, your model is a
Wait,
joke, bro.
wait. Let's not go past this. You just said that there was a cyclical path to these solar eclipses. I just pulled up some solar eclipses in the past few years. I'm posting it here. It
Yeah, look
doesn't
up the
look
time.
very cyclical to me.
Look up the time, bro. Look up the time of the eclipses and look back 18 years.
So you're gonna skip past when I said it's pretty crazily accurate that they can tell me what hotel to stay at. You said that's
Yeah.
cyclical.
No. Hold on. I'll get you the date. Are you denying the Soros cycle? Just before I go pull it up.
No, what? No, he's getting confused here. What they're saying is those eclipses, the ones you just posted, will repeat. Now, will they be on those same exact paths? Maybe not exactly, and that's why when it gets closer, they can give you the exact destination of where that's going to be as things are
No,
aligning.
they will be on the
And they
exact
don't.
same path.
Same
Hold
date.
on, hold on. I accidentally sent those to Carl. I meant to put them in the chat. Every 6,585 days, they do follow the exact same path.
Where you can you show me?
Yes, this is from NASA's website and Sky. Here, hold on. I'll put the other one up in just a second. All right.
Not
SkyAndTelescope.com
the
is the
exact
next
same
one.
path, the same
No,
pattern.
yes. Path.
Because the same path means if it went over my house 600 days ago, it's going to go over my house
Six-
again 600 days.
No, 6,585 days.
Okay, 6,000
That's what
days.
the
Is that what you're
Babylon.
saying?
That's what the predictions of the Soros cycle from the Babylonians
Now
determined, and
answer
it's
my
the same
question.
cycle that they use today.
You didn't answer my question. If it went over my house today, in 6,000 days, it's going to go over my house again?
Yes.
That's not what it shows.
Hold on, bro.
6,000
Hold
days.
on. I'm looking it up right now. I told you to get it because I know you're not
16
going to believe
I
me.
posted the
Hold on, pull it up. It's a bigger cycle.
eclipse.gsfc.nasa.gov, the Soros cycle, and then
Looking
I
at it.
also posted from skyandtelescope.org, observing the Soros cycle, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse.
But that's the same period. There's a bigger cycle which they call wobbles, where it does appear at the same time and over the same region. It's a little bit bigger of a cycle. What you're showing is correct. And but yeah, that's the period. It moves, and that's how they predict where it's going to be. But they literally know where it's going to be because it's a bigger cycle where it's called the same day. That's what Gleason called it, and his buddy, what you call it, and where it happens. And this is information going way back, like couple thousand years, where they know exactly where it's going to be in the bigger scheme. And I'm pulling that up right now.
So, I need to get to a basic agreement here that these two images I just posted are not saying that these eclipses happen in the same places, right? You agree to that?
So they go over a path, so you're not going to have like totality in the exact same region, but you're going to still have the eclipse. It's going to be like right below where the last totality was, and it goes basically in segments along latitude.
So
If you
they
look
don't
at
happen.
skyandtelescope.org, like I posted already,
Just
you can
asking
go
simple
there.
questions.
I just posted
I'm
it for
just
you.
saying, bro, you can look at what I posted, and they cover it in depth.
I'm
I just
asking
posted
you simple questions, and you're not answering
375
me.
years, bro. That's when it's going to be right back
Yo,
at the same place.
let the guy ask his simple questions, for fuck's sakes.
Let somebody answer them.
You're not answering them. You're telling me about everything else except for my simple question.
375 years. I just posted it. Same place, same time, same place. It's called a same day. That's what Gleason called it.
I see you, RL, not getting answered. I see you.
It shifts.
What
It
do you mean?
shifts
We're all
one third of the. It shifts 1/3 of the latitude of the Earth every 6,585 days.
So
That's
it's not
16
So
years.
it's not. It's not. What?
It's 16 years, right? 6,000 days around 16 years. So this map I just posted.
18. Yeah.
All right. I said around. That's close enough. So this covers 16 years on this map here, right? Or 20, yeah, way over 16 years. None of these lines are on top of each other.
Bro, there's ones that are literally like doubled up almost exactly You see all
Where?
these double lines? I think that's what he's
Which
talking
two?
about. There's a
Which two dates?
oh no wait, those are path of
Yeah, those are
totality.
totality
Yes,
paths.
those are
Yeah,
paths of
Oh, okay.
totality.
Yeah, they
So
don't seem to line up actually.
they're not
I'm really
accurate, but yeah,
confused
they
You
on
gotta
are.
why
bring it
we're
out to a
saying
longer. You gotta bring it out to a longer amount of time. That's what I was trying to say. Like
it
Brian just
don't
pointed
last
out
that
to you,
long
it's
though.
380. What? 385 years for it to return to that path. You're putting up 30-year. Like,
So this other
dude,
guy just
people
said
have been
16.
observing this for a long time. Not like the past 10 years, and now they could predict eclipses. It takes longer than that, bro.
I think it was Benjamin that said it was 6,000 days.
Oh
They
no,
come to
so every six, yeah.
That's
So I misspoke, and I already admitted to that. I said it's a third of the way difference across the latitudes.
that's why I
Every
was confused.
6,585 days, it moves down 1/3 of the
What does
latitude
that mean?
lines.
What is 1/3 of the latitude? What does that mean?
Well, they say it's 1/3 of the globe.
Oh,
I
so
think
it.
he's talking about the picture I posted at 10:28.
No, I'm just going off like sky and what is this?
Oh yeah,
Skyandtelescope.org.
this does look like 1/3 or something at 10:28. Well, 4:28 for me, but I'm gonna tag Dan so he can either confirm
928.
or
Yeah,
reject.
from RL.
Uh-oh, I'm busted.
Can somebody point out where in the Saros cycle it determines whether there's going to be a ring of fire eclipse or a total eclipse?
That's what it predicts.
Where? Show that.
No, that's what it predicts. It predicts the order that so the magnitude of the eclipse, like what percentage it's going to be, whether it's a total or ring of fire or whatever, and like the order those show up in. That's repeating. The whole thing repeats itself.
Can
Okay,
I
let's see
can I
your
ask a
evidence of
question?
this. What's your link or reference, or did you calculate this yourself, or what have you? Like, where's your evidence of this?
You
So
can
the
just see
Sora
the
Kosha is not wrong. Like, so the Soros cycle has been used for like 2,500 years to predict eclipses.
I noticed that you all just keep repeating the claims without supporting the claim. Like, can someone actually present
Well, I already
where in the
posted.
Saros cycle it says that? I'm looking at what you're posting. All I'm seeing is a period of where a path will be, but I'm not seeing the type of eclipse. Unless
Well,
y'all
so
can show me where I
this has
missed it
been
in any
like
reference
from.
y'all showed.
Well, so this has been from measurements done from thousands of astronomers all around the world for 2,500 years, and then even farther back in China, dating like mapping where these happened and then mapping the next one, right? And so we can determine that this is accurate because all of these different astronomers all around the world were able to predict this on a cyclical period. Like in
So,
China, if they got it wrong, they would be executed.
so
Are
can
you
I
referring
ask
to
a very
what astronomers
so
said? Astronomers also say that the moon revolves around the Earth and the Earth revolves
No,
around the
that's
sun.
very
But so do
recent,
you now accept
sir.
that?
Can I
That's
read
very
something, man?
recent.
So,
can I
Daryl,
Go ahead.
it will predict a total or partial eclipse. I put a link in there, so to the Wikipedia article that's talking about it. However, I do not. I am not aware if the Saros cycle will predict the time of the eclipse for any given location or the path of totality.
But
It is
listen
my
very
Course not.
closely,
understanding
though,
they
Omnivore.
do not.
But listen very closely. What I
Yeah.
said was, where does the Saros cycle show where it will be a full solar eclipse or a ring of fire eclipse? The reason why I bring that detail up is what determines whether an eclipse is going to be a total solar eclipse or a ring of fire eclipse. It depends on how far away or close the moon is to the planet Earth in its revolution. So if the moon is far away from the planet Earth in its revolution, it's going to have a smaller angular size in the sky, and then we'll see a ring of
It's
fire
It's on
That's
two
right.
around the
nodes,
moon.
bro.
Hold on,
It's on
Brian. Brian, hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah, Daryl.
And
This
and
is the information. This is Daryl. This is the information that is repeated in the serial cycle. Is the
you
distances.
keep
So
saying
the
it
distance.
without supporting it.
Daryl. Listen, my friend Omnivore has already told you the same thing I was going to tell you, which is the simplest source there is, which is Wikipedia. And I just recommend just learning about what it is, because you're questioning us, but we're trying to tell you what it actually shows. It shows you it
Omnivore.
repeats itself. It repeats itself because of the fact that the distance to the moon and the distance and the time here that comes in the cyclical, like it comes in the 18-year pattern.
So I'm trying to read. So each Saros series starts with a partial eclipse. Sun enters the end of the node, first into the node. Each successive Saros, the path of the moon is shifted either northward when near the descending node or southward when near the ascending node, due to the fact that the Saros is not an exact integer of draconic months, about 1 hour short. At some point, eclipses are no longer possible, and the series terminates.
Awesome.
So I
Now,
don't know if that answers the Ring of
Oh,
Fire versus.
it doesn't.
it's when the
You just said it
it's
yourself.
when the no,
He said that
it's
it
when the
determines
moon is
whether
on
it's a
its new
partial
phase.
eclipse. He said it determines it starts off as a partial eclipse. Then, as the cycle progresses, it moves towards a full eclipse. Then, as the cycle progresses, it moves away to the partial eclipse. It does not determine the distance of the moon away from the Earth, near or far away from
Okay,
Earth,
how about
as
this?
we just heard
So
Omnivore say, as you told me to say. So, the fact that astronomers can tell and determine the distance, which is not a cycle thing, as we just heard from Omnivore. That's because the Earth is a globe, and astronomers know how far and distant the moon is away. It
no.
is not accounted
Okay,
for that,
so like
and
this.
that's
No, are you saying there's not cycles, bro? Are you saying
Hold
there's
on. So
not
Well,
I
hold
can
cycles?
on,
answer
hold on.
So the way that they determined like how the Babylonians predicted the Soros cycle was not based upon the distance of the moon from the earth. The moon had to be in a new phase when it was going to pass between the sun and the moon. And they had observations where they predicted this, and it was on a cyclical period. It has nothing to do with them knowing about the distance of the moon.
So
exactly.
Of
they
course they
I
said
know
agree
that.
with
this
you.
whole
That's what I'm
point.
saying.
Of course. No, but of course they didn't know that. Nobody's claiming they knew that. We're just telling you why
Exactly.
why we were able to get a cycle. We're able to get
That's
this
his
cycle
entire
because of that
point.
fact.
That's his
Okay.
entire point. Can I ask a question just so to see if we're on the same page?
Okay.
Do we all agree that these paths of totality map to where they actually happened?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about
Generally, yeah,
So
but the
I don't know
actual
about
has
like the
continents,
Arctic and stuff, but yeah.
has
it's a
anybody ever
it's
mapped
a
this on a
general
flat?
it's a general match, but it's distorted because they don't give us the real map.
So has anybody mapped these locations out on a flat map?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
See,
mean, I've
they
mapped them out to
were.
look at the next. I mapped them out to
DFC
see
did
if the
that.
direction was good with this last eclipse. So when the sun's coming in from toward the equator, and I looked at the nautical almanac, and the moon was a little bit left of it, and it did show the path. So like some people on the flat Earth were saying that it doesn't line up, but it does with the eclipse going opposite the direction of the sun. The shadow does line up. I checked it, and even on a flat Earth map, it works. So any flat earthers claiming that the shadow should go a different way, that's not true because
Can I ask
the sun catches up to the moon, and therefore and then it overtakes the moon. So
Can I
it
ask the
projects a
Globers?
shadow. It projects a shadow in the opposite direction.
Can I guess the Globers a question because they keep like asking questions and like I'm just
Well,
curious. Like,
well, well,
they're
well. May I respond?
yeah,
May I
no,
respond to Benjamin first? Like he told me something, but I didn't get a chance to respond. If I could do that first before, then happily answer your question. I believe it was Benjamin that was saying the ancients didn't know about the distance. Their whole thing was based on the cycle. That is my point.
Yes.
And that's why I'm pointing out that flat earthers only talk about the cycle because the detail of the distance of the moon, which astronomers today can take into account, shows that what they're basing the predictions on are not just cycles, because they can take into account this variable of the distance between the Earth and the moon, which again,
No.
one shows that the moon is revolving around the Earth, two shows that its
It
distances
had
changes. And
it had
so
to
I'll let
do
you
with.
talk, and I heard everything you said. So
Sorry.
if you don't want to hear, at least I'll let everybody else hear.
No, my bad.
So
My
when you
bad.
say Thank you, thank you. So when you say, so we in direct agreement, cycles don't take into account the distance of the moon, but astronomers today do, and they predict it with 100% accuracy. This is going to be a ring of fire eclipse. This is going to be a total eclipse. So the fact that that's done disproves the notion that is all based upon the cycles. As you admit, they didn't know that. So it also shows that the Earth is a globe because the moon is is revolving around the Earth at a changing distance that determines whether it's going to be a ring of fire eclipse or a
What's that got to
total
do with a
eclipse.
sphere, bro?
Okay, so
What's that got
let
to
me
do with a
respond
sphere?
to that. Let me respond to that. So there's a synodic cycle and there's a draconic cycle. Okay, the synodic cycle is 29.53 days and the draconic cycle is 27.21 days. All right, so they would take these calculations and they would add one synodic cycle and a half draconic cycle and add these two together. And over this 6,585 days over this one region, they would be able to calculate that there was going to be a lunar eclipse. Now, the draconic cycle does have to do with two different nodes, right? Where you would say like two different sizes or two different distances of the moon. Okay, so I mean, you could use that in your model, right? And say like, yeah, this is two different distances. Well, we could just say it's two different sizes. So it
Nice.
doesn't
Well,
prove one or the other.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing, man. And somebody had a question for the Globers, maybe me or RLL can answer.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's not going to go well because you just said that the moon is moving away, but I'm just curious, like you guys are like scrutinizing how perfect these cycles have to be um for it to prove that there is a cycle to it. How would that ever be even close to the case in your guys' model? Like with everything changing and everything just randomly shooting through space.
Because things are
Well,
not randomly
I
changing
mean,
and shooting through space. I mean, that's a misunderstanding of the solar system model. I will say that notably the first path of totality and timing prediction that I'm aware of was Edmund Halley, the guy who discovered Halley's or named Halley's comet. He did a path of totality and stuff for England using Kepler and Newton's laws for the Earth and the Moon and the Sun, and it was it was the first it's like hailed as a great triumph. So that's a case where.
Real quick, Omni. I just posted this. A particular solar eclipse will be repeated approximately after every 18 years, 11 days, 8 hours. And that's 6,585 days. But not in the same geographic region. A particular geographical region will experience a particular solar eclipse every 54 years and 34-day period. So that's a different wobble in your model. So for us, it's just cycles of doing their pass. In your model, there's like 4 different wobbles. So are you denying there's cycles, bro?
I don't think
I'm
anybody
sorry.
denied that there's cycles.
Okay, well, you keep asking this question. So it's every 54 years, and I think it said 34 days. I posted it in live text, and they're acting like before recent times they didn't know past the 18-year cycle. The Chaldean, bro, there's so much information about how far this shit goes back. But yeah, just denying there's a cycle is weird, bro.
I don't
Well,
think anybody's ever denied that. We know of the cycles that these happen in. What I
Right.
was trying to highlight is the accuracy that they're able to tell us where to go, when to go, what time, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
And
4
if
years.
they're mapped, I'm very curious to see if any flat earther has ever mapped these well documented eclipses on a flat map. I just did
Yeah,
some
bro,
rudimentary
it's
RL,
lining
plain
up,
to
and
see.
it's hard to
I
even
just
line them
told
up.
you what I did.
so RL,
What
do
do you
you
think
think
different,
that
bro?
25 centuries worth of data on where these eclipses occurred, we wouldn't have better calculations by now using computers?
Oh, of
Yeah, and
course.
also like
I
So,
think
the
so it's like,
timekeeping.
so it's really like that's completely moot. You're saying that, okay, well now we've had, literally thousands of eclipses occur all around the world that people have been monitoring.
Seem to have been a bit of an interesting talk. I got in a little word about the ring of fire. Uh, I noticed that the guy just made an ad hoc explanation that kind of about Well, we could just say this, just customary to for flat Earth, but I just figure anybody who's honest enough and intelligent enough to recognize it could just decide for themselves. And I just left it at that. So seem interested enough. I'm about to go do some homework and stuff. But I'm sure I'll be back this weekend and we'll see what else is going on. All right, y'all.